The morning sun shone gently over the rolling hills of Ephraim. Birds chirped in the fig trees, and farmers called to their oxen. But among the quiet cottages stood one house that buzzed with secret excitement, the home of a man named Micah. Micah was a clever man, but not always wise. He loved beautiful things, shining silver, polished wood, and fine clothes. But above all, Micah wanted God's blessing, and he thought he could earn it his own way. One day, his mother discovered that her 1,100 pieces of silver were missing. She cried out, "May a curse fall on whoever stole my silver." Micah's heart pounded. He had taken the silver hidden in his room, wrapped in cloth. Guilt burned inside him like fire. He couldn't bear it anymore. "Mother," he cried, rushing to her, "I took your silver. I'm sorry." His mother froze, then her face softened. "Oh, my son, may the Lord bless you instead of curse you." She hugged him and said something that would change everything. "Let's use part of the silver to make an image, an idol, so that God will bless our home." Micah's mother gave the silver to a craftsman. Sparks flew as the man hammered and shaped the metal. Soon, a silver idol stood shining in the workshop, a human shape with gleaming eyes and a carved smile. Micah gazed at it with pride. "Now God will surely be with me," he said. He built a small shrine inside his home. He decorated it with candles, fabrics, and smaller wooden images. Then, pretending to act like a priest, he wore a robe called an ephod and placed the silver idol in the center. His mother smiled proudly. "Now our home is holy." But what they didn't realize was that this was not how God wanted to be worshipped. Long ago, God had told the Israelites, "Do not make any image to bow down to. Worship the Lord your God only." Micah meant well, but he had created something that led him and others away from the truth. Days later, a young man from Bethlehem in Judah walked along the road near Micah's house. His sandals were dusty, his cloak worn. He was a Levite, a man from the tribe chosen to serve God in the temple. But this Levite had no home and no steady work. Micah saw him and hurried out. "Peace to you, traveler. Where are you going?" "I'm looking for a place to stay," said the young Levite. "I want to serve God wherever I can." Micah's eyes lit up. "Then come live with me. Be my priest, and I'll pay you a salary, clothes, food, and silver every year." The Levite hesitated. He knew priests were supposed to serve in God's temple, not in private homes. But the offer was tempting and the road was long. "All right," the Levite said. "I'll stay." Micah clapped his hands with joy. "Now I know the Lord will bless me, for I have a Levite as my priest." The Levite began to perform ceremonies before the silver idol. Micah believed God was pleased, but the truth was, God's heart was grieved. Far away in the hills of Dan, men gathered around campfires, talking in hushed voices. "Our tribe has no home," one said bitterly. "All the good lands are taken. We need a new place," said another, pounding his fist into the dirt. "A land of our own." 5 warriors stood up tall, strong men with spears and shields. "We will search for a new territory," their leader said. "We'll find a land that suits us." So the 5 Danite spies set out. They moved through valleys, crossed rivers, and followed paths northward until they came to the mountains of Ephraim where Micah lived. As the spies passed near Micah's house, they heard a familiar voice inside. One whispered, "Wait, listen. That sounds like the voice of a Levite." They entered the courtyard. "Who brought you here?" they asked the young priest. "What are you doing in this place?" The Levite smiled nervously. "Micah hired me. I'm his personal priest." The spies looked around and saw the shining silver idol and the decorated shrine. Their eyes gleamed with interest. "So Micah has his own temple," one said quietly. That could be useful." Before leaving, they asked the Levite, "Please, ask God if our journey will be successful." The Levite, standing before Micah's idol, said confidently, "Go in peace. The Lord will bless your way." The spies bowed and left, but their minds were filled with thoughts of the strange shrine and its treasures. After traveling many days, the 5 spies reached a valley called Lash. It was a beautiful place. Rivers sparkled in the sunlight, Fields were full of crops, and the people lived peacefully with no enemies nearby. "This is the land we've been looking for," said the leader. "The people here are calm and unprepared for war. We can easily take it." The spies hurried back to their tribe in Dan. They told everyone, "We have found a rich land. Let's go at once and make it ours." 600 warriors gathered, swords gleaming, shields shining, banners waving. The tribe of Dan was ready to march north. But as they passed near Micah's house, the 5 spies whispered to their leaders, "Inside that house is a shrine with an idol, an ephod, and a Levite priest. It would be perfect for our new land." The leaders exchanged glances. "Then take it," one said coldly. "Why not bring your gods with you?" So while the warriors waited outside the gate, the 5 spies slipped into Micah's house. The Levite priest came out to greet them, surprised. "What are you doing here?" he asked. They smiled slyly. "Be quiet, don't shout. Come with us and be our priest. Wouldn't you rather serve a whole tribe instead of one man?" The Levite hesitated, then looked at the silver idol gleaming in the shrine. Ambition filled his heart. "Yes," he said, "I'll come." He gathered the idol, the ephod, and the images, wrapped them in cloth, and left with the Danites, abandoning Micah's house behind him. When Micah returned home and saw that his shrine was empty, his heart sank. "My gods, my priest, they've taken everything," he shouted. He quickly gathered his neighbors and chased after the Danites. Dust rose behind their sandals as they ran through the hills. When they caught up, Micah shouted, "You've stolen my gods that I made, and my priest. What's left for me now?" The Danite warriors turned around, spears glinting. One of them laughed. "Be quiet, old man, or angry warriors will strike you down." Micah looked at the hundreds of armed men and realized he was helpless. His shoulders drooped. Slowly, he turned back home, his heart heavy with sorrow. The Danites continued their journey northward, carrying Micah's idol and the Levite priest with them. When they reached Lash, they attacked suddenly. The peaceful people were no match for the army. The city burned. The Danites rebuilt it and called it Dan, after their ancestor. In the center, they placed Micah's stolen idol and appointed the Levite as their priest. For generations, that idol remained in Dan, a false image that led the people away from the true worship of God. One night, in the new city of Dan, the Levite couldn't sleep. The idol stood tall in the moonlight, its silver face cold and silent. He whispered to himself, "Is this really the way to serve God? This idol cannot hear, cannot see, cannot save." But the next morning, he silenced his doubts and continued his duties. The glitter of silver was too tempting to resist. Far away, in his empty home, Micah sat by the ashes of his shrine. His heart was broken, not only because his idol was gone, but because deep down, he realized he had trusted the wrong thing. Years later, elders would tell their children the story of Micah and the tribe of Dan. Micah made idols, thinking he could make God's power with his hands, they said. And the Danites took those idols, thinking they could carry God's blessing in silver and stone. But both were wrong. The children would ask, "So where does God live, then?" And the elders would answer, "Not in silver or gold, but in hearts that love and obey Him." Lesson 1. You can't create God, you can only worship Him as He truly is. Lesson 2. Doing what seems right in your own eyes can lead you far from God's truth. Lesson 3. True faith isn't found in things we make, it's found in obedience, humility, and love for God. The story of Micah's idol became a warning for generations of Israelites. It reminded them and us that even when something looks holy, if it replaces God in our hearts, it becomes an idol. The silver idol that once shone in Micah's house became a symbol of confusion and sorrow, proof that nothing we build can take God's place. And though the idol of Micah is long gone, its lesson still whispers through time. Don't chase silver gods. Chase the living God.